What is up, YouTube? This is yo boy Sigfigicus bringing you some news about the Microsoft conference that just happened not too long ago. Now in this video I'm going to be discussing my thoughts and opinions on the major games that happened during the conference. I might mention an indie game or two, but that's about it. I'm not going to go through the entire lineup. Now, the first game there that they released was Halo 5. Now, I'm a big fan of the Halo series. I've played every single Halo game when it came out, and I love playing Halo with my friends, and I love playing the Halo Online. But Halo 4 just didn't seem like Halo to me, so I played it and I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was a Halo game. I feel like it was more tailored towards Call of Duty players, but that's just my opinion. But they showed us some single player, the campaign, where it's following the ODST team, which has Buck from Halo ODST in there, and their goal is to hunt down and kill Master Chief. Now, it looked like the Forerunners were still in this game, and it was pretty much just the same old Halo experience where there's creatures and you gun them down and you go to the objective checkpoint, which is pretty much the same in all of the games. Nothing's really changed. Nothing's really changed. But, and then they showed some multiplayer. Multiplayer is pretty much the same as it was in Halo 4, which hasn't really changed much, except, they're doing a game mode called Warzone, which is a little different. It's kind of like the Titanfall gameplay, where it's still PvP, but there's also enemies that you can kill too, which makes it the experience a little different, but still gives it the same Halo feel. And I'm going to give this the score that that I probably would have given Halo 4, which is probably a 7 out of 10. Now, until I've played it, that score will probably stay the same until I hear some really good things about the game, but that's about it. The next game they released was a game called Recore, where you're this woman character and you have a mechanical dog, and they do adventures. They just showed a trailer for it. They didn't really show any gameplay for it, and it kind of has the same type of feel as Fallout 4, which I kind of made the joke to one of my friends about, oh, it's Fallout 4, which is kind of funny. But moving on from that, from the trailer, can't really give it too much of a rating, but we'll see when the game comes out. They also showed a gameplay of the new Tomb Raider game. Now, if you're a fan of the old Tomb Raider game, the game looks really nice, but the gameplay is kind of the same. It still has the quick time events and the scripted sequences, which, if you're a fan of that, go ahead. I'm not too much of a fan of those type of things, especially quick time events where you have to button mash. I'm not a very good button masher, so quick time events don't really appeal to me as much, and I know a lot of people don't like quick time events either, but they showed a little bit of the campaign, which it looked really nice. It was a snowy climate, and you're trying to reach this other place, which I'm not sure why there wasn't much explanation given during the conference. But The gameplay looks really solid. I'd be willing to give it a try, but I'll see what's truly different from the Tomb Raider that just came out not too long ago. I'll probably give this Tomb Raider probably a 7 out of 10 at the moment until I see something different. And they also showed Forza 6, which I'm not a huge fan of racing games. My favorite racing game of all time is probably Need for Speed Most Wanted, because I liked the concept of you're the underdog and you're working yourself up to the top, and I just really like the gameplay of this game. They also displayed a new car that with the show, which the car looks incredibly nice. If I had the money, I wish I could have that car and drive it around. It's a really nice and luxury car. But they said that they're going to introduce new vehicles and stuff. It'll kind of help change up that type of game, which I think will be very good for the series. Otherwise, I don't really see how they can make racing games too much different besides like different game modes and adding different vehicles, because it's pretty much the same mechanics in racing games. Can't really change too much of those. So the new Forza game, I probably give that one a 6 out of 10. Not too big of a fan of those type of games. They also released some pretty big news there that the Xbox One will now be backwards compatible, so you can play your favorite Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One. But that won't be coming out until the holidays, so you're going to have to wait a little longer. But that's pretty good for Microsoft, because I'm pretty sure people are going to be trading in their Xbox 360s to trade in towards the Xbox One now, and that will probably increase their sales, and this is probably needed to keep the edge over Sony right now until the Sony conference tonight, where hopefully, I'm hoping that they'll do a backwards compatibility thing so we can play PS3 games. That will be really exciting, because I really want to play the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 HDs, which, if I can play those, if not, I'll hopefully that they'll release them for the PS4 when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. But that's besides the point. But that's a huge step for Microsoft, and I'm proud that they made that move. They also introduced this Microsoft Lens, which is a hologram type device where you can play games on a wall or a table. They introduced this lens with Minecraft, which is a good game to show it off, but probably not the best game. But the lens just blew me away. They were able to put the whole Minecraft world onto a table and lift it up and down and zoom in, and they could put markers, and you can control the world with your hand and your voice, which is like a god mode over the Minecraft, which is a very exciting experience, and I hope I get to try that out someday. If I could, I'd go out and buy one right now, because holograms are really cool now that virtual reality is also becoming a big thing. Holograms, I hope, will become a big thing in the future, which Microsoft has a good thing now. Even now, they've partnered up with Oculus, so now every Oculus that you buy, it'll also include an Xbox One controller, which will help with testing your games that you make, or playing the computer games that you guys love for the Oculus. They also introduced a new controller design, which will allow you to replace parts on the controller like the sticks and the D-pad and stuff. Really make it your own controller if you want, instead of just like slapping on stickers or buying skins for the controller. You can still buy skins and put stickers on the controller, but you can replace the sticks and the D-pad and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. And if I ever get an Xbox One, I think I'll probably buy those controllers because they look pretty neat. They also, Fallout 4 was also introduced at this conference, which I wasn't sure at first how they were going to make it different from the conference that they had last night, but they ended up introducing different gameplay to it where you end up meeting more of your kind, and your kind's pretty much getting eradicated, and they showed more gameplay with your character getting into the power suit and then gunning down the characters from that, which I thought was nice to introduce. And something that will be exclusive to Xbox right now will be that you can play mods of Fallout 4 on your Xbox One, which will be kind of a way to give Xbox One an edge, but I don't know how long the edge will stay there because the Sony conference has yet to come out, which I will be doing a video on the Sony conference as well, just to let you guys know how it's going and my thoughts and opinions. They also introduced this thing called the EA Vault, which if you pay, you will be able to play all the EA titles on your Xbox One with this subscription, which I think will help players who don't really want to go out and buy a $60 game to play it. Right now they have 12 games in there, and they are going to introduce Titanfall very soon into it, which I think Titanfall is a good game, but that's just my opinion. Later on this summer they'll be bringing in Dragon Age Inquisition, which I think is a good game as well. So it's a real solid thing. I don't really see myself buying that service because right now I don't think EA has too many good games on the Xbox One. The only games that I really like right now that I know of is Plants vs. I think it's Zombies, correct me if I'm wrong, the Garden Warfare. Now that game really piqued my interest. So from then on, they also introduced kind of like what Steam does with early access, where games that are in production, players can involve themselves into these early access games onto the Xbox One. Examples that they gave so far that players will be able to play during this early access period are the standalone DayZ and Elite Dangerous and Alone in the Dark, which I really like Alone in the Dark. Not a big fan of the DayZ standalone. If you're gonna play the DayZ standalone, I would just play the DayZ mod on Arma 2, which in this case is free compared to paying the $30 standalone for the plain DayZ version. But I think that's interesting. It's kind of a way for Microsoft to make more money and kind of milk more money out of the gamers in their fandom. They also introduced Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Gears of War version. I've played Gears of War since the first one, I became a real big fan, but they kind of destroyed their fans with Gears of War Judgment, which was a big letdown to the community, and a lot of people are kind of hesitant on the new game. But they've been releasing a lot of news, and they've been listening to their fans about changes that they're gonna make to the game, and they played a little bit of the story, and right now it looks really good. The creatures look absolutely nice, and the icons on the doors to like chainsaw a gate open or kick open a door looks absolutely beautiful right now. I really like the way that they're doing that, which is really nice. And the story just looks good, the graphics look good. I'm hoping that the game will be good. I hopefully want to get an Xbox One before that game comes out. Right now I give the game a 9 out of 10, but that's probably biased because I really like the series. And they also introduced Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is just a graphically remade Gears of War 1, where you get to play the first game with better graphics, and they're going to include more maps, and I think it will really bring more people into Gears of War 4, which will be really good. Hopefully they can regain some of the fans that they lost during Gears of War Judgment, because some people dropped out of Gears of War because of that game and how bad it was. And yeah, the conference overall, it was just a very good conference in my opinion. There were a lot of good games out there, and I'm excited for Microsoft to release some of these games. Hopefully want to release some of them, but one game that I forgot to mention was they are going to do a Rare 30-year game where it'll have the games that Rare has made in the last 30 years, and you get to play them in one big bundle. It's going to be for $30. I think it's an incredibly good deal because you're going to get Banjo and Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, and Conker's Bad Fur Day, and Battletoads. All these great games in one pack. You get 30 games for $30. That's pretty good. I'd recommend getting that if you have the money to get that. It'd probably be one of my first games for the Xbox One. And then there was one indie game that I kind of liked that reminded me of old cartoons like Popeye. It's called Cuphead. I'd recommend looking at that. It's kind of funny because, yeah, it reminds me of Popeye, and one guy is Cuphead, and then the other's Mughead, I believe his name is, and they showed a little cartoon of Cuphead pouring like moonshine into his head, and it's kind of like a jump and shoot against enemies. It has gameplay similar to Castle Crashers, where there will be a big guy and you just constantly shoot at him until he's dead and he can damage you. That game looks incredibly fun. I would get that game as well. That's probably one of the best indie games I've seen in a while that really made me want to get an Xbox One. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the big points that were in the Microsoft conference. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share this video, and please subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out if you did that. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll be releasing a video tonight, probably for the Ubisoft conference, the EA conference, and I might combine the EA and Ubisoft conferences just so that I'm not making too many videos. And then for the Sony conference tonight, which I'm hoping for some big news from the Sony people, really hoping for that backwards compatibility, which I'm not banking entirely on. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed this video.